gentlemen, behold the Marvel Legends Fantastic Four Dragon Man. He is neither dragon nor man, but is he a must-add for your collection? Stick around and let's find out.
I've got to stop those people below from hurting themselves in a panic by drawing the android after me again. This way, Dragon Man!
That's right, baby. We are back. And we're back this time to take a look at the Marvel Legends Fantastic Four Dragon Man figure that is just hitting right now. This guy went up for pre-order during the summer of 2025 on Hasbro Pulse, was announced right around, I believe, San Diego Comic-Con last year. Earlier this summer, 2025, during this year's San Diego Comic-Con, pre-orders for Dragon Man started cashing. Dragon Man arrived just the other day, and he is a pretty fun, big, giant, chunky figure. So now a quick history lesson. Dragon Man, or Draconis, as he is sometimes called throughout the years, made his first appearance in Fantastic Four number 35, Calamity on the Campus. Dragon Man is an android created by Professor Gregson Gilbert, although the alchemist Diablo also had a hand in that as well. And as a matter of fact, Diablo would start a long history of villains exploiting Dragon Man for their own gains. But ultimately, through the years, Dragon Man developed an affection for Sue Storm, the Invisible Woman, and became aligned with the Fantastic Four, and has spent a number of years, I believe, as part of the Future Foundation at this point. Here's Dragon Man straight out of the outer box in his plastic sleeve here. He's absolutely positively massive. You can see the giant head here. The purple coloring has a little bit of a sheen to it. Like you can see like a little bit of a glimmer here on the chest and down here on the legs. So that's cool. You know, purple was great to begin with, but now also shiny. Here's his big giant tail here, which I guess is bendy. That's cool. His little Dragon Man book. Couple sets of wings. Dragon Man out of the package now with nothing on him. Still a big giant beast of a figure. Trying to just move him around now out of the package. Butterfly shoulders seem to work okay. Double elbows. I'm only getting that. Thigh swivel, knees, but I tell you what, to be safe, hot bath before we proceed. And here is Dragon Man with what I consider in my headcanon to be my Alethea's Brood. And I feel like it just kind of makes sense. To me, Dragon Man was always really a part of Alethea's Brood. He's like the big giant dragon beast guy who's also a scholar and is like, hey guys, do we need to kill tonight? And then they still kill tonight anyway. And I think it's just cool to see him here with his purple fam. While Dragon Man's warm bath is being prepared, let's take a look at the other stuff that comes in the box with him. First up, we got this tail here, big giant purple tail. It is bendy, as we can see here. Big giant massive bendy tail. Something about this feels a little weird. Tail is just about 11 inches long, which is, you know, plenty. In addition to the mother porridge hands, he has on his body in the box, Dragon Man also comes with these smash you in the face fists here. He's got some cool black painted fingernails, all scrunched up, 4 fingers, shiny scales on the back. This little Future Foundation book here, which is pretty cool. There's actually some graphs and stuff on the inside. That's pretty sweet. And then we also have his tiny little spectacles. Tiny little spectacles. Because even though he's like an intergalactic, cosmic, cyborg alien, apparently they didn't quite get the eyes right, so he needs these little spectacles. Then we have this pair of giant purple wings that are kind of I believe will be kind of like the hanging down version. Not super shiny or anything, but you can see a little black shading here along the wing bones. Some tatters here from his various battles over the years. Poor Dragon Man. As I've been like backfilling a lot of the old Dragon Man lore, sounds like he's a guy that just kind of like gets duped all the time and people trick him and are just generally kind of mean to him. It's kind of bullshit, to be honest with you. Oh, it's kind of cool too that the tatters different on each wing. Cool attention to detail. Black talon on the top. Another set of wings, more like big and giant, a little bit more splayed out wings, with the inside being more of like a orangish type, not quite burnt sienna type color, and it sort of fades out to a little bit, you know, whiter. There's some like white shading here at the end, purple on the back. You see little wing veins there. Scales on the arms are a little bit shiny. Yeah, on the big wings, the scales on the arms are a little bit shinier, while the ones on the smaller wings are not. The bigger wings do feel a little bit more pliable. They're pretty, as you can see, you can move them around pretty easily. Whereas the little ones, a little bit stiffer, but you can move them around. They are pliable. There you go, there's the big wings. Smaller wings. Big wings about just a hair over 9 inches from the end of the top of the wing to the claw. A little bit more than 9 at the longest point. For the smaller ones, we got from the top of the claw about 9.5 inches. Is that right? And here is Dragon Man next to a couple of larger scale figures here. First, we have the NECA, I believe this is TMNT 2 Ultimate Shredder. Cool purple version with the Technicolor Dreamcoat cape. And the Mythic Legions Alithia Decebalus. Next here is Dragon Man next to the Belphegor bust that we got at Intern for a Day 2021, painted by the one and only Chase Donath.
Hello?
Speaking of which, it's Chase!
Hello?
All right, so I gave Dragon Man a little bit of a hot bath last night, actually, so we'll see if it's still loosened him up a little bit. He just felt a little stiff. Nothing crazy, but just rather be safe than sorry. He does have double knees. Gotta kind of move those around. I'm just trying to be gingerly with him. I just don't want to snap anything. Not that he's going to, but there you go with the double elbows. So no waist swivel or anything. You got this little tail here. Let's see how easy it is to put the tail on here. There we go. So there's the tail. Once the tail is on, gosh, the tail is pretty big. Try out the wings. That's gonna go in there. Satisfying pop when you throw the wings in. Boom, there's Dragon Man with like the chill out purple wings and his big giant tail here. He balances pretty well, but if you needed to, you could use the tail to help hold him up there. Well, let's try out these 2 fists he comes with. Italian dragon hands come off. Fist. Fist. Boom. Ready to wreck some house. You want a knuckle sandwich? You want a knuckle sandwich? Give me pork roll. Let's switch out the wings. They do move in and out. See? Feels very good. There's Dragon Man looking pretty badass. And here comes Victoria now. Everybody's gonna be awake now. Say good morning, Wubba.
Good morning.
Alright, that's the end of filming day 2. You gotta get up earlier. Trying to get this footage in. Next, we've got a comparison of Dragon Man with the Mythic Legions Gideon Heavensbrand version numero dos. We've also got the Jazzwares AEW Swerve Strickland, Whose House, as well as the vintage Hasbro Brutus the Barber Beefcake and the little cool Heart Foundation reminiscent wrestling guy, which I received as a very generous gift from my good friend Anthony House Heel. And yeah, of course, I thought it made sense to set Dragon Man up next to some other Marvel Legends so people can get a good look of what he might look like next to some other Legends scales. I looked around and I could not locate any of my Fantastic Four figures. It is quite possible that I might have sold them loose at a toy convention within the last couple of years. Gonna have to remedy that, of course. But here we've got Dragon Man next to a couple of Iron Man type characters, Blink, AOA Iceman. I really have always loved this figure, so I'm sticking him in there. And then Mr. Sinister in the background. So as you can see, his little tiny spectacles here do fit like right over his nose here, over his little nostrils, right in front of his eyes where, you know, where glasses go. Now, there's no, like, as far as I can tell, there's no, like, little ridge or any place where it clicks in. You just kind of have to, like, stick them in there. So if you mess around with them, they may fall out. So just be aware of that. And his little Future Foundation book right here does fit within his hands. Again, doesn't fit super snugly, so you just got to kind of, like, rest it in there. But it looks pretty cool. It's a cool juxtaposition. I think something very popular about this character is that he's these big, you know, giant, barbaric, cosmic dragon beast of a creature, and yet very thoughtful and caring and studious and whatnot. And he's purple. All right, had to have Dragon Man set up with a bunch of, I guess, random purple action figures. You're not getting this comparison anywhere else. Here's Dragon Man next to the SH Figuarts Eternals Kingo? That was his name, right? Kingo. Also, we have the G.I. Joe Classified Techno Viper in the back. Also, the vintage Hasbro Ara Techno Viper in the front. Vintage Kenner Superpowers Joker. Then we have like the 5K Toys, I think is where I got it. Heath Ledger Joker. This is a great Joker, by the way. In the back, we've got the NECA Defenders of the Earth Phantom. We also have the vintage Gloob Phantom in the front here now. Then the AWOC Blight, the NECA video game Batman, and the Jazzwares Fortnite Galaxy. Jazzwares Fortnite. That was a really fun line. So, wings on, here's Dragon Man from the front, from the side, from the back, other side, and back to the front. So standing up, Dragon Man measures about, just around 10.5 inches, just a shade under to the top of his head. Almost a full foot up to the top of the talons on the top of his wings here. Side to side, you're looking at almost a foot from the outer edge of one wing to the outer edge of the other wing. And again, we've got just about 11 inches to the top of the talons with the more splayed out, spread out wings. And then from side to side, we're looking at just about 17 inches from the left to the right, from the outermost portion of one wing to the outermost portion of the other wing. So with the giant wing spread out, he is going to take up a considerable amount of space on your shelf, but you do have these purple pulled in a little bit wings for a slightly more compact option. Next, we've got Dragon Man next to a couple of Dragon Buddies here until Bayathir comes out next year. First, right here, he's next to the Blue Dragon from the Storm Collectibles Tyrus Flare, woo, and Blue Dragon 2-pack. And in the background there, on the top of the Castle Grayskull diorama that I got from Drunk Gizmo Customs, Alexander Deshaw, we have the McFarlane Viserion Dragon. All right, so next up, I've got a comparison that I thought would be really cool to do. We've got Dragon Man with the more like spread out wings, right behind the Mythic Legions Malifar with the Mythic Legions blue wings. So you can sort of compare the wingspans here if you're familiar with them. And here you can see from the overhead shot, they're pretty comparable from like a left to right width perspective. But there you go, two flying boys. So next up we have, because why the heck not, Marvel Legends Dragon Man next to another big figure, another Marvel Legends figure. Marvel Legends HasLab Galactus. No, 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 no. Dun, dun, dun. Don't look at my house. Yay. And I think this might be my favorite comparison because I've set Dragon Man up next to both the ever popular Mythic Legions Swig on the left here, and on the right I've got the custom figure, the character Carter, that was designed by my son Chase. Staff and head sculpted by Thiago Conti, printed by the Toy Forge, Anthony House-Seal, painted by me with an Arazak body and robes, Samir hands. Also got to give a shout out to Carver Customs, who did these incredible purple lighted lanterns on either side, as well as the lighted staff here. CarverCon, July 2026. So bang, there you have it. That is my Dragon Man video. Bottom line, I think he's a super fun figure, a big, giant, beefy, purple Dragon Man android character. I didn't even really know anything about this character before I got this figure, but now that's kind of like inspired me to take a closer look, and the character is super interesting with a lot of layers. So that is really, really cool. It's also awesome that fans of this character have another chance to get a real Marvel Legends Dragon Man figure, because I know the original Marvel Legends Dragon Man is pretty pricey these days. So hopefully, if you wanted a Dragon Man, you were able to get in on the pre-order for this guy. If you liked my video, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to hit that notification bell so you know when I go live. Every Saturday at 3 p.m., or almost every Saturday at 3 p.m., I've got Saturday Day Live with my buddies Eric LeBron and Ryan Gonzalez. And I also go live at random times, so you need to hit that notification bell to know when I do. For now, I'll take my leave of you, and I'll say, until next time, don't forget the #1 rule, which is be cool. Later.